We honor you wherever you are in your spiritual path. I know that there's something wonderful for you here this morning. A particularly warm welcome to anyone who is here for the first time. I've been curious about the word spiritual. In one source I found, the spiritual world is everything that's not in the material world. Another refers to three parts, body, soul, and spirit. But Ernest Holmes said, spirituality is one's recognition of the universe as a living presence of good, truth, beauty, peace, power, and love. And that's good enough for me. The words to our morning chant are on the screen, followed by the words of our spiritual mind treatment, offered by our spiritual community leader, Reverend Karyl Huntley, to take us deeply into our own center.
Thank you. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Look across the room and sing. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. And so I invite you with those sweet and true words within, inside to that place that is filled with light. That place within that knows only the truth. That place within that has been held in harmony and love and peace and joy since the beginning of time. The immortal place. The place that was yours before you took birth. And sitting in that place, me in my place, you in your place. I know it is the same place. I know it is the place where the infinite presence makes itself known as the only thing, the only life, the only energy, the only mind, the only creative power. There is just that I call God. I know that that is all there is. That is all I need. It's all I want. It's all that is. And because I know that this omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, everywhere present, all-knowing, all-powerful life and wisdom is everywhere, I know that I am a part of it. I can be none other. I am one with the source that created me. I share in the attributes of the source that created me. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each person here. And even behind my closed eyes, I can see the light, the individual light of God in each and every heart, radiating from each person, knowing perfection, wholeness, and completeness is absolutely true, no matter what has happened, no matter anything. That is the truth of each one of us. We are the beloveds. We are the beloveds of our Creator. And so sitting in that knowledge in my place and in your place, we know it is the same place, and it is good. I release this now and declare it to be so. And so it is. Amen. Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm Karyl Huntley. I'm the minister here, the senior minister. I'd love to meet every single one of you that I don't know personally. You're here at the right place, the perfect place. I'm telling you what. And we have great music next up. We have Ross Gualco on keyboards and Margaret Miles, our wonderful, wonderful soloist today. We have the Margaret Miles Mall, say that 3 times, right behind this partition here. You can shop for Margaret's CDs, but right now, please, a warm welcome for Ross and Margaret.
Don't be afraid of the darkness. You know that you're never alone. What you can see in the daylight is still there when the sun is gone. And if when you wake it is raining, the storm's stolen all your plans, the gray clouds are hiding a brilliant blue sky, you will walk in the sunshine again. When the world is shrouded in shadow and you can't see even a spark, you carry the light within you. You are a candle in the dark. When the ground falls away beneath you and you're frightened of taking a breath, your light will guide you along a new path. Hold it out and take one small step. Somewhere it's already tomorrow, and that place isn't so very far. But if not for the night, you would never discover light shed by a single star. When the world is shrouded in shadow and you can't see even a spark, you carry the light within you. You are a candle in the dark. One flame that casts a light illuminates the night, shines bright enough for those in
thank you both for sharing your light with us. Good morning. I'm Reverend Sarah Hargrave, staff minister at this wonderful spiritual community. Good morning. We'd like to start with gratitude. And we want to thank Cece and William this morning, especially for setup. You know, Jim Homa, who is our leader for setup team, has been under the weather, and they have stepped in and had to come in early to do all the arrangements. And Dana, sorry. Thank you for helping me remember. So, you know, if you don't show up till everything's set up, you don't realize all that's gone up. And everything that's here ends up going under the stage. And they have to organize it and get it in there. And they're also reorganizing under the stage. So we give thanks for them. And why don't you stand up for our applause? CC and... Okay, and our children, the topic this month, today is Don't Judge by Appearance, and it appears there aren't any children, but there are...
We're here.
Oh, there is a baby? Okay. So wave goodbye and hello, and send them off to wherever they are. So, it's time for our Do-It-Yourself Abundance program. And it's a time that we give you the opportunity to think about how much financial support you're willing to give to this community. I always like to think of it, you know, this is the time of year that NPR does its pledge drive. How many of you listen to NPR? And you're really familiar with the idea that it's the members and the friends that are supporting. Now, the difference between us and NPR is they have corporate support and all kinds of other support. And what we have is you as our members and our friends. So we appreciate all that you give and invite you to think about the blessings that this community brings to you on a daily and minute-by-minute experience. So we need to know, as leaders of the community, how much you're willing to give us, because we have to budget accordingly. So we're grateful for whatever you are able to give to us. There's an abundance class. There was one this past Thursday night, and I understand it was a really good one. And it's all a way to answer your questions about abundance and prosperity and supply and all the things about money that we sometimes are maybe a little uncomfortable about. So this is given by Reverend Lloyd Tupper, who's the founding minister of this community, and Francine Huss, and the details are in the bulletin. We have a quick start today, which is a wonderful introduction to this philosophy, or a reminder of the philosophy if you've not attended one of those in a while. Gail Durkin is going to be doing that today. Gail, raise your hand. Where are you? Somewhere. Thank you. And also, she's getting ready to do an affirmations card workshop that's coming up. So talk to her about that. She'll give you more details, and I think there's details in the bulletin, yes? Okay. This Saturday is the Spiritual Singles Group. See Ellie Scheiber. Ellie, you want to raise your hand? And she's got some handouts. And I think that's now time for Reverend Karyl to talk about birthdays. And also to give us our wonderful spiritual message for the day.
That's right. So we're starting something new. We're starting birthday parties. And how did you Scorpios get to score and be the first ones? You know, that is so fabulous. So this Friday, right before the singles on Saturday, is your opportunity for a party at Sue Ruta's house, which is 314 San Rafael in Tiburon. We'll send an email blast about that. At what, Jay? It's in Belvedere. Oh, sorry. Belvedere, yeah. Woo! So if you're coming, whether or not you are a birthday person, there is a sign-up sheet on the education table. Education now has all of the sign-ups for everything because the other tables are taken up with pledge, and we'll talk more about that. So just pass by the education table to see if there is something that you might want to sign up for. Information about the Thursday night prosperity class is there, plus those little question cards. If you have questions about where's the money, we got one of those this last Thursday, and we answered it. So please just avail yourself of everything that this community has to offer. And now I'm going to step up here and be the community spiritual leader. So, for those of you that are new to this community, we have a year-long theme, and it's indicated by this wonderful circle that is kind of an ancient Celtic calendar. The theme is the New World and the Ancient Path, because what we're doing is drawing wisdom from new discoveries as well as ancient wisdom and bringing it to bear on our life and how we can have a better life, a more spiritually abundant life, and physically and emotionally abundant life. And so our theme for October is faith. And that's taken from the growing calendar because in October, winter is promised in the northern hemisphere. And even though, it gets up into the 80s still here in the daytime, it gets down to the 40s at night. And so we are anticipating winter, which is a time for our ancestors that required quite a bit of faith because they had to have faith that there was enough food put up pretty quickly to last them until next harvest season. So it's a wonderful reminder for us as we do our once-a-year abundance program that we have faith in our own abundance. And if we have faith in our own abundance, then we are able to be generous. A few weeks back, we did a survey of this community about what you wanted most in the world more of. And you know what? The number one thing was money. That we said abundance, we said prosperity, but what we meant was money. And so money is the outpicturing of the spiritual principle of prosperity. And if you live and believe in the spiritual principle of prosperity, you have enough money. And you have enough supply of all kinds. And that is what this month is about. So the title for my talk is Faith in Our Own Goodness, because that's one of the things that we really need in order to have that harvest of goodness. Kathy Fowler did this altar about the harvest of goodness. And I love the way that our altar people conceive of the lesson. So I want to read the email that Kathy sent to me. Hi, Rev K. Most of the items on the altar represent harvest and the abundance of the natural world. The corn god is a deity that symbolizes growth, decay, and rebirth. The wreath also shows this cyclical nature. The cornucopia, or horn of plenty, has been associated with both Greek and Roman gods. Its overflowing bounty represents harvest, prosperity, and spiritual abundance. The pumpkin and the many seeds it contains is a sign of fertility. The green in the altar cloth and candles is to signify growth. The shell angel represents the bounty of the sea, and the traditional angel in the center of the altar provides protection and guidance. As I put this altar together, I remembered the amazing abundance that surrounds us and is ours to receive. What a pleasure to help celebrate God's gifts. So, thank you, Kathy. And you know that game, Where's Waldo? Well, when Kathy does an altar, it's Where's the Frog? Because she loves frogs, and frogs are a symbol of immortality. So usually there's a frog somewhere on the altar. So anyway, this the pledge program that we have is called Do It Yourself. Because we all know, those of us that have been around any length of time, We know that it is us that supports this community, and it's only here because of your contributions and because of your service. There would not be this community here if it weren't for your gifts and my gifts, because I also pledge. So because we know that you know what to do, it's only 3 weeks instead of 6 weeks. So if you'll just trot over to the tables, which actually will be brought out after the service, and make your pledge, it's great. And we will be running right along with fabulous vitality and abundance in the community. And one of the things that I'm dedicated to, it's not just that I ask, because as I said, I pledge also. I pledge generously. And I am dedicated to your abundance. I am dedicated to you experiencing life abundantly. Jesus said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Well, I'm here that you might have life and have it more abundantly. I want abundant people. I want your homes to be filled with all of the beautiful and good things that you want. I want you to be able to buy from Whole Foods if you want instead of Safeway. I want you to be able to go on vacations if you want instead of staycations, whatever those are. So I really, really want this for you, because this joy and bubbliness that's coming up as we're speaking lightly of it is what we all want. And there is no power on earth that keeps it from us. There isn't. There is only the power that says yes. Yes to everything that you accept. And if you accept poverty, then, the creative law says yes to that. So as self-love, that's the word for the day in case that wasn't evident. The principle is the one perfect life, the one perfect divine life is my life now. There is no difference between you and God. Maybe a little forgetfulness on your part. But other than that, no. So last week we talked about the 3 parts to experiencing prosperity, and once again I want to say you have to have all 3 of these. You don't have to have anything else, but you have to have all 3 of these if you experience prosperity. And this is the one that we talked about last week, which is there is more than enough of everything we want or need. That's it. There is more than enough. Science shows us this, spirit shows us this. There is enough love, there is enough supply, there is enough food, there is enough time, there is enough of everything that you could want or need. And that was last week's message. If you think you need that more than anything else, just get the CD. This is the one we're talking about today. Each and every one is deserving of their good. You are deserving of your good. And next week we talk about this one. The creative law is infallible. That's what I just said about it's always saying yes. This is it. This is all you need. This is it. They are beliefs that if they are installed in your body-mind complex, they sort of churn out reality. And the reality that they churn out is there's always enough, you are deserving, and the creative law supports you with always saying yes. Okay? Are we good with that? That's the way it is. If you're not good with that, it's like, I don't know what to do. That is the way it is. That's how it's worked in my life and in many, many, many lives that I've worked with. So we're talking about self-love, deserving, how you are a miracle, how you are a wonderful, unique incarnation of spirit. There's nobody like you. You are perfect, whole, and complete. No matter what you've done, no matter what anybody's done to you, that's you. And we sang that song at the beginning very consciously. It was chosen very consciously. Hopefully you sang it consciously. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful and perfect and precious and worthy and whole? How could anyone ever look at you and say anything but, oh, what a perfect divine creation. Looking into your eyes, holding your baby face, and saying, you are a gift to the world. Oh my, what a blessing you are. Now, people do say other things than that, don't they? Yeah. Sometimes parents do, sometimes teachers do, and sometimes they say less than things like, who the heck do you think you are? And the answer, by the way, is a perfect child of God. Thank you very much. So sometimes people say limiting things because that's what they got. You know, that's the way their parents talked to them. And so if the unexamined life is not worth living, the unexamined life gives its unexamined parts down the line. So that's maybe what you got. Or this one is everywhere in our culture, that the critical punishing model supposedly works. That when you're told you're bad and you're punished, and this is the law, this is medicine, this is education, this is parenting models, that somehow saying you're bad will make you good. Now, whoever in the world thought that one up? That does not work. Okay? It doesn't work. We're not going to do that. Or the people in power want even more power. And they know that fear and shame are very good controllers. Right? So if you have internalized these models, and that the deserving of good is far from your awareness, the best that you can hope for is to fool everybody and get some stuff anyway. The best that you can hope for is to get something before somebody else gets it. The best you can hope for is to get lucky, because you have internalized the belief that you're less than, and so to get anything you have to manipulate. So what is absolutely true is not that. That in order to see yourself for who you truly are, all of that has to absolutely go by the wayside. This is what Albert Einstein says. A human being is a part of a whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and his feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty, beginning with you. So the truth, that's what we talked about, the limiting beliefs, the telling you that you are anything less than beautiful. That's not true. Here's what the truth is. So just, if you can't hear this with your ears, just open your heart. In fact, if you argue with me, plug your ears up, and your heart will hear it. Okay? Don't do that. But, I want to get all of you to hear this, because the truth is, you are an unrepeatable miracle. There is nobody else like you. You are unique. You are valuable. You are a gift. And you have more gifts to give. You have work and creative capacity to give to the world that nobody else has. And if you don't give it, then the earth is bereft, because you have not given what you took birth to give. We all took birth to give something wonderful. And in order to give that something wonderful, there's this humility but wonder that, my God, I am here to give something really fabulous, and I have to be about it. So you are divine just as you are. You are one with your Creator just as you are. You don't have to believe it. I believe it. I know it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to promise anything. You don't have to vow anything. That is who you are. An unrepeatable divine miracle, an incarnation of the God that created you, walking around on earth with hands and feet and voices that you give forth of God's wisdom as you understand it. And you know what? This might sound like positive news from New Thought, but it is in every single religion. Now, it's hidden sometimes, and some of the clergy from your past may have chosen to say something else to you, but here are just some of the quotes from some religions. Christianity, you know. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? From the Muslim faith, he made his progeny. Then he made him complete and breathed into him his Spirit. From Judaism, and God created man in his image. In the image of God created him. Male and female he created them. From the Hindu religion, thus in the body of man dwells the supreme God. He who sees and permits, upholds and enjoys the highest God and the highest self. From Buddhism, now where did I mark this? Every being has the Buddha nature. This is the self. Such a self is, since the very beginning, under cover of innumerable illusions. That is why a man cannot see it. And finally, from Confucianism, the Master said, heaven produced the virtue that is in me. Every single religion in its mystical side says that you are one with your Creator now and always, and deserving of all good. And so I could have gone through that whole little book. I love this book, World Religions. In Christianity, it says it's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Every single religion says the same thing. All that God has created is for your enjoyment. All that God has is for you. Nothing is kept away. Nothing is doled out a little bit at a time. Nothing about you is undeserving and you have to prove that you're deserving and talk God into it. No, no, no. It is all given because you are precious and deserving. So, just like last week we had to internalize that belief that there is more than enough of everything we want or need, this week we internalize the belief that I am deserving of my good. I am the perfect life of God right now. And when that lives in you, you're able to catch those punishing thoughts that come up and say, you're no good, or how stupid am I, blah, blah, blah. And you're able to catch them, and you're able to say, no. The one life divine is my life now. I am deserving of all good. You're able to say it over and over and over again. So, the next little piece of this is a lesson about, are your self-beliefs up for healing? Okay, so there are 3 areas that I want to talk about. And the first is your essence. Now, this is the belief that we're going for. I am a perfect creation straight from the heart of God. Now, your essence has to do with who you are at your core, your actual self, the self with the capital S, the I am presence within you. And if you think that that's dented, or if you think that that's less than, if you think that's been damaged, if you think that's gray in some way, then that's that is a self-belief that is up for healing. You should be able to be awakened out of a deep sleep, and somebody says, "Who are you?" And you say, "I am a perfect creation straight from the heart of God." Say that. I am a perfect creation straight from the heart of God. Now, as you say that, there should be this welling up within you that is from before you took birth. It just wells up and says, "Yes, they're finally getting it." So, you can't, shame is what goes against this belief. Shame is that belief that somehow I am dirty or tainted just because, no reason, just because. That's what we get rid of with this belief that I am a perfect creation straight from the heart of God. All right? So this is what you work on. And I'm going to send this out in the letter. If you're not on my letter, just go to the website, ggcsl.org, and click on subscribe, and you'll get the recap of the talk. Okay, the second thing that we get hooked up on and we get tripped up on that we might criticize ourselves about is skills. Lack of skills has been called sin. We don't do that. We call it unskillful. So skills is, I learn and grow. My life skills are always improving. So when we are in a new situation, we don't know what to do. But as we look at what is important about our interactions, that honesty is important, self-protection is not so important, forgiveness is important, dwelling on mistakes is not important. Clear and uncomplicated relationships are the best, and if we live in our ego, that's not so good. So what we have been taught to call sin, we don't even say that word here, but I say it so that we can translate it in our minds, that sin is a mistake or an unskilled behavior. If you knew better, you'd do better if you work at it. Now, if you argue for staying in unforgiveness, if you argue for manipulation, if you argue for staying in less than total honesty, if you argue for holding back, then I'm sure there are others. These are mine. These are the ones that came to my mind first. But whatever you do that hurts your relationships with others, you can learn how to do that better because it's just a skill set. It's just a skill set. And so when you think about how you screwed something up, for example, yesterday, I always live my talks. I got a call at 6 minutes after 11 yesterday morning, and a groom said, "Reverend Karyl, are you close?" I had spaced on a wedding rehearsal. I was more than an hour away because I was not in any state to be seen in the world. And so I had to get ready and get down here an hour late for a wedding rehearsal, the first time I had ever done that in my life. And now that's something that I could have really beaten myself up on. And actually what I did was I apologized profusely. I thanked them for their graciousness because they accepted my apology instantly and said, "Oh, don't worry, we've been working out the kinks." And I go, "Oh my God, that's what I'm supposed to do at the rehearsal is work out the kinks." But nonetheless, we got through it. The wedding is today. Everybody's happy. And I said, "Isn't this interesting? I get to talk about self-love tomorrow." So that we all screw up. And if you can apologize and change and do it better the next time and accept their gracious forgiveness, what a sweet thing that is. Everybody just was so sweet to me and hugged me and said, "Don't worry, now don't be late for the wedding." So the last piece that we sometimes get really down on ourselves for, sometimes we don't even know it, is the buttons. And those are the reactions. Now, buttons are reminders of past hurts. That's what it is. If somebody pushes your button and you are instantly angry, it is because in a situation that is similar, you were hurt in the past. And instead of in a skillful way saying, wow, that hurt, can we try that again? You react. And the reaction is usually in a way that tries to make you feel more powerful, which is aggression and anger. That's what a button is. And sometimes the reaction is so automatic that we don't even remember what happened in the past. That button was pushed and we're armed. We're ready to go. And that in itself is very, very destructive for you and for the people that you're in relationship with. Because you are reacting unconsciously to something that was not the truth in the first place. If anybody ever hurt you, it was because of ignorance on their part. And so what we do with buttons is, I know my reactions are my responsibility and I am healing them. Because what we want is for all of those buttons to be calmed and just shut off. So that maybe if somebody does something to us, we remember the past, but it doesn't hurt us afresh in the present. So what I'd like us to do is just read through these affirmation parts together, okay? And just, if something comes up for you where it feels impossible, or there's a yeah but, or oh yeah but you don't know my story, or blah blah blah, some of that, go see a practitioner after the service. Okay? I am a perfect creation straight from the heart of God. I learn and grow. My life skills are always improving. I know my reactions are my responsibility, and I am healing them. Isn't that fabulous? When we do this over and over and over again, we get to that place of self-love. And the self-love that I'm talking about is not an ego place where we say, you know, how special I am or how entitled I am or judge other people that are not like me. It is that I am a unique gift from heaven. So another wonderful, wonderful quote from Hildegard of Bingen. I am the one whose praise echoes on high. I adorn all the earth. I am the breeze that nurtures all things green. I encourage blossoms to flourish with ripening fruits. I am led by the Spirit to feed the purest streams. I am the rain coming in from the dew that causes the grasses to laugh with the joy of life. I am the yearning for good. So that's where we get to. That's where we get to in that feeling of knowing that we are one with our source, that we are blessed, that we are supplied, that we are loved, we are guided, we are healed, we are taken care of, we are safe, everything that we need is around us. And when we feel that way, we're joyful, happy, generous, peaceful, abundant. We live life fully. We don't hold back. We are free. And that's what I want for us all. And it's our work to do. So with that, I would like to invite you within. And to imagine that whatever I have believed about myself in the past that is small, that belief is dissolving. It's like it's literally being sent out into the ethers and it is dissolving like mist on a warm day. That we are prospering, each one of us, a precious son or daughter of the Most High. And that any unskilled beliefs and behaviors are made known to us in gentle ways. And anything that brings the experience of lack or limitation is healed right now. And we are stepping into an inheritance that is the perfect sign of our sonship and daughtership. And so, imagine that this is being sung to you by the beloved of your soul. And then you can sing it after I sing it to you, after the beloved sings it to you. You can sing it in your own heart to the person next to you. You are a miracle, God's child. You are a miracle, God's child. You have perfect love in your heart. You are a miracle, God's child, God's child. Now all of us. You are a miracle, God's child. You are a miracle, God's child. You have perfect love in your heart. You are a miracle, God's child, God's child. Now see if you can say it with I am. I am a miracle, God's child. I am a miracle, God's child. I have perfect love in my heart. I am a miracle, God's child, God's child. And so it is.
Child, each week on Sundays we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would read about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, 'cause miracles don't happen still. But nowadays I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, I could barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, say it's not a testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, watched a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything's a miracle. Used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now.
Before I ask the ushers to come forward, I've asked Francine to talk a little bit about the pledge. Now, as she comes up, I want to say that for those of you who are here for the first time, or for those of you that are not dedicated yet to this community, I want you to give somewhere. I want you to give to your highest vision somewhere, because it's good for you. So now the rest of us, Francine has something to say.
Good morning. I have some notes because as I heard Karyl, I changed everything that I thought I was going to say on the way here. So bear with me. I was very moved when Karyl started by saying that she's committed to us. She's committed to our abundance. So I want to say the same thing, because I too, in my heart, in my intention, I am committed to the abundance of each and every one of you. It's my life's work, and you're my peeps. And so I want to stand here and say, first of all, I am a tither. I'm a happy tither. And I want you to just feel how that sounds to you. How does that sound to hear someone say that with such confidence? And how does it feel for yourself to maybe imagine those being your words? Because as Karyl was saying today, those three important things, there is always plenty, that we deserve everything, And next week, we'll talk about the creative law. So I want that for you. I want everything for you that you can imagine for yourself. So here's what I know is true, because that's what I find is the most important to talk about, is what I know in my heart is true. That we do not only deserve everything, but Spirit has already given us everything, and it is really the only difference between what we've already been given and what we deserve and what we're experiencing are the limitations that we've put on our own lives. And what I have learned over and over again, and most recently, is that what it takes to experience more of that which we've been giving is to step out first ourselves in consciousness, in thought, in word. So I mentioned this at our evening on Thursday about prosperity, and I hope you come because it was such juicy and great conversation by everybody, is that in the past several years, I think many of you know I have a summer place on Lake Michigan, and I used to think I could only go for a week or 2 weeks or some usual amount of vacation time, until it occurred to me that maybe I could go longer than that. There was my own self-imposed limitation. And so I thought, well, what if I went longer than that? What if we could go for a month? And we did that, and we do that. This year we said, what if we went longer? And we just got back this week. We left in July. We just got back this week. And so what I have learned directly from that experience is when I step a little farther beyond the limitations I've imposed on myself, Spirit rushes in and shows me evidence that I am supported in that way. So just many things happened. So when we're at our cottage, we can't rent it. But we got several new people this year that said we want to rent it next year in times that we're not even there. So that showed up, that's new. I had clients that said they would wait for me when I came back for the work that they would like me to do. So I have all sorts of evidence when I step out first, when I push beyond my own imposed limitations of how there is plenty, how I am already deserving because I'm a miracle spirit, and how the creative law knows only to respond to what I think, say, and do. So Ernest Holmes says, in the textbook and in other books, he says these principles that we teach are useless unless we prove them to ourselves. It's really useless for me to stand here and say, I tithe. What's really important for you is to test the same principles and to prove to yourself that when you step past your limitations, when you step beyond, when you do the work of self-love, when you do the work of taking responsibility and becoming more skillful, that you see for yourself, your own life experiment, that these principles absolutely work. Spirit always shows up. Spirit has always given us way more than we can ever imagine and what we can ever receive. And so I heard I forget what book I read it in, but it was an analogy of, let's say there's this huge, wonderful bank account that exists somewhere, and it has so much money in it, it has millions of dollars in it. And it's your bank account. But it does nothing unless you go there and draw from it. It does absolutely nothing. So that's what I know about and how I try to experiment and learn these principles and live from them myself, is to continually step out more and draw more and draw more. So as we're in this pledge program, the do-it-yourself, because it's a do-it-yourself life, it's your own experiment, and this is a great place to experiment. We have the different levels we call of giving, and I'm proud to say that I'm a tither. And I want to say I want each and every one of you to be tithers. I see you all as tithers now, and as tithers becoming. Because I can also say that when I first walked into this community, I was not a tither. I started out giving at the level of my limitation in my mind, and I've grown into being a tither because of all of the principles that I've experienced. So we invite each and every one of you to pledge in advance It's stepping out. It's saying in advance what your level of giving is. And as Karyl told me just yesterday, in this past year we had levels of pledge anywhere from $180 for the year to $15,000 for a year. So I invite you to mindfully think of where you want to be. I'm not saying where you are, where you want to be, and how you might want to step up. Because I see you all as becoming tithers. It is a powerful and confident place to be. Because what I know is when one gives, one always has plenty to give. And when one doesn't believe there's enough to give, there won't be enough to give. So the level of giving, I invite you to thoughtfully think of how you might step out, how you might test these principles, and use giving as your own statement of your consciousness, statement in thought and action. And if you have any questions of that, that's what we're here for. That's what these Thursday nights are for, to talk about some of this stuff, talk about like moving past your comfort zone, question the principles a little more. That's what the whole program's about. And if you have any questions, ask any of the practitioners, see a practitioner to work through some of your healing work. And finally, as it has been said several times, we are what makes this church up. The support that we give makes the church possible. And as we know, tithing is about giving to the place that you're spiritually fed, or the source, the representation of the source that feeds you, because it's spirit that feeds you. And I assume that for most of us that are here every week, not necessarily newcomers, for most of us that are here every week, this is what feeds you, or else you'd be at Pete's. So I invite you to pledge. I invite you to push a little past your limits, and feel free to call on us who are committed to your greatest abundance. Thank you.
So Francine is going to be at the tithing table. There are 2 other tables. They'll have people there. When you pledge, you get 2 presents. You get a a little bookmark with tithing principles that came from my mom, everyone's teacher here, and you also get a $1 million bill. So now, would the ushers please come forward, and for us to get ready to give our tithes and offerings for this week, and just know that they are blessed and they are happily received, they are happily used and happily given out into the world again, maintaining that divine circulation. And so as we prepare to give and we hold our gift near our hearts and we know that this is about circulation, we give and we expect to receive, because that is the nature of abundance. It is the nature of the universe. We cannot outgive God, and so we joyously give today. So with the ushers, please receive, look at all these ushers. Please receive the gifts, and here's our song. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Ave, as we give thanks for these gifts, our heart is so full because so many gifts have been given and received today. And that is the tip of the iceberg. There is more always where these gifts came from. And we open to receive them. Blessed be. So, as we end this service, the wonderful, wonderful volunteers who stack the chairs, if you could stack them near the wall, because these tables, the pledge tables and the legacy table, are kind of going to be brought out in the center so you can all mill around and ask questions, and there'll be lots of people there to help you. As I said, please take a turn around the education table, sign up for the party, and there's all kinds of goodies in the bookstore. So with the practitioners, please come forward. We've done the ushers already. These are the people that'll help you disinstall those buttons. And I'm going to ask Reverend Sarah to pray us out.
If the other practitioners would surround the room. We want to thank the practitioners that step forward to be of service to you. They are normally paid professionals and they volunteer their time. So just join me right now, knowing that I am speaking my word in the first person for myself and for each of you that choose to have it for your own. So I give thanks right now for the awareness that Spirit is truly all there is, everywhere present, in every situation, by whatever name I choose to call it. And knowing that I am one with that infinite intelligence, that infinite Spirit. That I am a magnificent masterpiece of Spirit, unique and special, unlike any other that has ever been or ever will be. And I affirm that I am shining my light to the world, realizing that everything and everyone and every situation is holy. And I bless the buttons I have in my life, knowing that they are signals to understand false ideas and beliefs that no longer serve me. So I bless those buttons, recognize their value, and release them back to the nothingness of consciousness they came from. And new and supportive ideas and beliefs flow in, knowing that I am one with that infinite intelligence and the abundance of life, that all that I desire already exists. So I accept this as the truth, release it as already done, and wait for wonderful reports and delightful surprises. And so it is. Amen.
So would you all please stand now for our affirmation and closing song. Right up here. I am absolutely divine in my essence. I am perfect, whole, and complete, now and always. All that I need to reveal my perfection is made known to me gently and clearly. I am deserving of life's joys and abundance.
me give this.
Oh, thank you.
That was real helpful. Well, thank you so much. That just sounded great.
Oh, thank you. Love your song.
Thank you. I didn't write that second one. That's Peter's.